Kevin Durant is a member of the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
Let's see here. Do we have an exact deal? Can I just do it off the top of my head? It is Jaylen Green, Dylan Brooks, number 10, and 5 second-round picks.
Got it.
For Kevin Durant. It's a deal that, look, you and I have been saying this entire time that it's just not a deal that's going to bring back as much as people think.
Yep.
It's the reality. It was never going to be a situation where Kevin Durant was going to get like this massive haul in a trade. I think Phoenix might have expected that early on, but this deal kind of says all that you need to know about what the offers were.
Yeah.
Like Toronto, I think this got reported over the weekend, but I've been told like Toronto was very hesitant. And I told you this last week at some point, but like Toronto was very hesitant, was my read, to offer Jakob Poeltl in a deal. Minnesota, like I get the impression that they like weren't all that interested in making a real offer unless he wanted to go play there. And it seemed like Kevin Durant was not wildly interested in going to play there based off of reporting from The Athletic, everything like that. So you take those two offers off of the table and you are left with the three teams that theoretically made offers. Now there are reports that I'm confused by the reports that Miami like didn't want to offer like any of Jaquez, Jovic, and number 20. That's wasn't really what my read was, but I got the impression that like it wasn't a massive offer from Miami, I think is the reality. And then on the San Antonio side, look, like we recorded the San Antonio offseason preview. I kind of was very strong in that like San Antonio was not going to do this. And I kind of made GMAC edit some of it out just because I was worried that the market was going to come back so far that San Antonio might be able to like get in the mix on it a little bit more than what I expected. But I don't think San Antonio was ever all that interested in this one. So that leaves Houston. And I think this is a terrible deal for Phoenix. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's because I'm lower on Jaylen Green than most people.
Yeah,
I mean, Bryce, what was your reaction when you saw this?
I mean, this is the exact deal we've talked about, so it didn't surprise me.
I think we talked about, I want to be just like completely transparent. The deal that I talked about personally was something very similar to this. It was Jaylen Green, Jock Londale, Aaron Holiday, and then you wait until August to actually like do the deal.
Yeah.
Where the number 10 pick would count toward salary matching. But same concept, to be clear, was Jaylen Green and number 10. That was my impression on what they were offering the whole way.
Like I realize Dylan Brooks is like still a quality NBA role player and all of that. And in Phoenix, if they want to be win now, which I guess they are because they have Devin Booker, like he's an important, ultimately to me, it's the young piece, Jaylen Green, and the draft pick, right? And I guess 5 second-round picks because, I mean, 5 second-round picks got you into the back end of the first round last year for OKC. So that's not nothing. I don't know that you can say those are that they equate to a first-round pick, but they're not nothing. So I wasn't surprised by the value. And while I agree that, like, for Phoenix, I'm not excited about this return, I also have a hard time judging Phoenix too much other than I think you could say, like, if Jakob Poeltl was on the table in a Toronto deal, that maybe they valued the wrong things, valuing a young Jaylen Green that's not on his rookie scale deal anymore and the number 10 pick. Like, I think if you're going to crush Phoenix, I think that's where people should crush Phoenix is they went for a young upside guy who's not on a rookie scale deal and a number 10 pick, as opposed to potentially, if guys were on the table, and I don't know, but guys that could have been on the table that were established vets that come in and help you win. I don't know at what level, but help you win next year. So maybe this is right. Maybe you take a swing at 10, you take a swing at Jaylen Green and you go for the upside. Maybe that is the right play. It's just, I'm with you. I don't love the swing on Jaylen Green. And I hate the Jaylen Green, Devin Booker fit together on top of it. Like, I don't love that either. And
for what it's worth, John Gambadaro, who I think I'm going on the radio with tomorrow, he mentioned this idea that they are keeping Jaylen Green. It seems like.
So it's not, they're not gonna, okay. Yeah.
And to be clear, like, it seems very obvious that he is somewhat connected with Phoenix, like in their front office. Like, it feels like he's, got some real info there and insight there. So I think they're keeping Jaylen Green. Like, my immediate reaction was, okay, maybe they can try and flip Jaylen Green.
Yeah, sure.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't think Gambo would go like as strong as he did saying they're keeping Jaylen Green. Like, he even say that like Phoenix like had him put that out there, right? Like, say he is just like going full, put out what the team wants you to put out, right? And I don't get that impression like fully from him, but whatever, right? I don't think you can play it as strongly as he did unless they are planning to keep him, is my read.
Sam, this roster is effing hilarious.
It's a wild roster right now.
Bradley Beal, shooting guard. Devin Booker, shooting guard. Jaylen Green, shooting guard. Grayson Allen, shooting guard. Like, those are four of your five best players.
Royce O'Neal realistically is like the size of a shooting guard. Like, he's not a big dude, right? He's like 6'4" probably.
It's amazing.
Cody Martin theoretically is still on this team. Kind of a two guard, maybe, right? Like,
it just, and I realize it's June 22nd. The roster is going to change. I get it. I'm not trying to judge it right now. It's just kind of funny. And then again, we'll see what they do at 10, right? Because like, I don't know if we want to do this and then we can do the Rocket side, but it's like, this has like Jeremiah Fears or Jaeger Dimon written all over it to me.
Oh, like, no, not to me. Honestly, that's interesting. Okay.
What did you think?
I thought big.
Okay. So like that, but do you think they're going to get Common at 10?
It's not impossible, but I would be surprised if he got to 10.
Yeah.
And honestly, if he gets to 10,
that's why
10, my read is like, there are teams trying to come up for him at that point if he gets to 10.
So I guess that's why I didn't go big, is because I assumed Common would be off the board. And then I wondered if they would go like Sorber or like, are they Derek Queen?
You go Big 10 pilled, baby. You go Derek Queen.
I mean, if they're going to do, they're just going to take Jace. Look, they're going to take Jace at 10 then.
That's very funny. I'm guessing they're going to, this is a guess. Don't report this. Do not aggregate this for the love of God. This is like half joking. I'm guessing, given that Jace was not invited to the green room, that they would try to bump up from 29 to like 22 or wherever to try and get Jace.
So interesting. Yeah. Big made sense. I just didn't know. I didn't think Common would fall there. I just thought point guard. Because while there's a bunch of guards on the team for sure, and maybe point guard doesn't make sense. Like, as much as Booker is going to play with the ball in his hands and Jaylen Green is going to want to play with the ball in his hands, maybe you don't even mess with an actual point guard.
Well, look, like Kasparis here is another name that makes a ton of sense to me. I'm not saying that they can't go point guard. I'm going to have Derek Queen in the mock tomorrow. Live mock at The Athletic goes up tomorrow. Again, if you want all this info, everything I have, it's going to go to The Athletic first and foremost, outside of what I'm going to talk about here tonight. But my read on all of this is that they're going to make some choices. Like, they're going to try and bring some guys in late this week and try and figure it all out. Right. There's nobody that they're locked in on, I don't think.
And we will have a predictive live mock on the Game Theory YouTube Tuesday evening night.
I think that's right.
Hopefully, right? That's our plan.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide if I think we should do it tomorrow to give it a little bit more leeway.
Sure.
But we'll see. We'll talk about that. It'll either be tomorrow or Tuesday. I know that. Okay. So the Phoenix side. So should we talk about just like why we're not high on Jaylen Green?
Sure.
So the fit is terrible here. Jaylen really got a lot of opportunity to play with the ball in his hands in Houston and get a chance to like really showcase over the last 4 years what he might be capable of. And there are undeniably flashes, right?
Yep.
There are undeniably moments where he will look quite good. In game 2 of the NBA playoffs, he went for 38 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 13 of 25. Here's the other problem. Game 1, 7 points. Game 2, 9 points. Game 3, 9 points. Game 4, 8 points. Game 5, 11 points. Game 6, 12 points. Game 7, 8 points. Was truly a catastrophe in that series. And it's not surprising. He doesn't make quick decisions. He doesn't finish well around the rim. I think the people that like Jaylen Green think of him as this guy who's like a super athlete who finishes around the rim at a super high level. It just has never borne itself out in the numbers. He makes these spectacular finishes that make you want to buy into the potential. But the real issue here, like the finishing at the rim is almost like a microcosm of his game as a whole to me. The flashes make you want to buy in, but the game by game consistency is just wholly lacking, is the reality. He took strides this year defensively. I do want to give him credit for that. He is a player that can create, like he can get to his shot, but he's not a good enough shooter to like be able to actualize it in any way, shape, or form and like make it useful. I mean, look, true shooting percentage compared to league average over his 4 years in the NBA. His rookie year is actually the best year. It was only 3% below league average that year. Second year, 7% below league average. Third year, 7% below league average. This year, 6% below league average. I don't think he's a good enough shooter at the end of the day to live off of the shot diet that he has to.
Yeah, I mean, and this will be really interesting because with the way the Rockets roster was constructed, I feel like he kind of played as the number one option. And I guess that made sense. And I would understand why he would think that and why they would play him. When he goes to Phoenix, there's no doubt who the number one option is. And it's not Jaylen Green. And so I am interested now to see playing off of Devin Booker, what that looks like. And can he find his rhythm? Can he find his flow? Can he maybe find easier shot attempts? And again, this is why I don't love this fit, because whenever I think of Devin Booker, my first thought isn't like, hey, create great looks for other people. I'm not saying he's an awful passer. I'm just saying like, I don't think like primary creator in that way. I think Booker of like, hey, he's going to go, he can create his own look. So I'm interested to see how those two play off of each other. And along with Jaylen Green now being like, you are definitely the number 2 option. There's no doubt about it, night in and night out. And I don't know, maybe that fits. Maybe he does figure it out and find some efficiency with his shot diet in that way. But I'm a little bit concerned that this is the best fit for him to be successful.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like no easy shots here for Jaylen Green. Like it's, unless they get a point guard, right? Maybe they will take a point guard at some point or find one, whatever. But like nobody's generating easy looks for him here. It's basically going to be the same, I think. Yep. So I don't like the fit. I don't love this type of player in general. There is real athletic upside if you can tap into it. And he's going to have to become, I think, basically like an elite mid-range shooter and 3-point shooter to be, because here's the route, right? The route is Zach LaVine, sure. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
That's the player that he can theoretically turn into. Let's go with, but I would just tell you, Zach LaVine, 1% above league average in terms of true shooting percentage. His second year, 4% above league average. His third year, had the bad year with the injury in Chicago in his fourth year, coming back from the injury, but 3% above league average, 1% above league average, 11% above league average by the time he was in his seventh year. How Zach made the leap was he became like a truly like elite shooter.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to have to come for Jaylen Green. And it's a very narrow pathway that worries me. If it doesn't happen, he's probably not all that valuable of a player, and he's making $33 million already.
And like all of that with Zach LaVine, and there's people who question him on a winning basketball in a winning scenario and his contribution to winning at the highest level. I know you and I are a little higher on LaVine, and I think, you know, a lot of his discourse comes from the contract. But even with the contract, I think there's still people that question that. I was looking at Booker's numbers. Like maybe I'm just not giving him enough credit for his ability to create for teammates. Like the last couple of years, he's averaged a ton of assists. And so maybe he will do a decent job if he has to, being obviously the focal point now with KD gone, and maybe he will do some setting up for Green to get him some easy looks.
Devin can really pass, but when he focuses on that, I don't think that you get the best out of him.
Sure.
And I almost think that like if you're Phoenix, your entire pathway to success now is to get the best out of Devin Booker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that develops over the course of the next, year realistically. Look, they can't be done with this roster. We know that.
Yeah.
Dillon Brooks is a player that I think is actually useful for them.
Sure.
By the way.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to just like throw away what his value was because again, like he's a real NBA rotation player, right? Like there's no questioning that. Like that's 100%.
He's like honestly true. Like a starting caliber
a
player.
Starter. Yeah. A starter, not even rotation, a starter level NBA basketball player. And so that's not a nothing in this trade. It just was like, okay, that's nice. What are kind of my upside options? Like, what are the things for me to get excited about in this trade? And those, depending on who they take at 10, what is maybe as exciting as what people would want. But yeah, I don't want to discount Dillon Brooks as being a part of this as well.
Yeah, agree. Okay. Now from the Houston side. I mean, this is a home run to me.
Sure.
Like, I don't think Houston could have done better for a deal this year. I think losing Dillon Brooks is not ideal, honestly. But here is kind of the thing, right? When you get Kevin Durant, the move now was probably to bring Dillon Brooks off of the bench anyway, which might not have been the best strategy as it was, right? Because like, I don't know how enthused he would be after starting for many years in the NBA, including his first 2 years on this roster. But like, I would have guessed that they probably will start. Like even if Dillon was there, it's probably Fred, Amen, Kevin Durant. Like maybe you start Dillon instead of Jabari Smith and then Şengün. Like I'll hear it all out. Like I'll hear out like a number of different things, right? But Dillon Brooks's minutes were going to get cut as it was with Kevin Durant for sure. On top of the fact that you have Jabari Smith entering, an enormous year, right?
Yeah.
Contract year potentially if they don't extend him. Ari Eason is a player entering a contract year if they don't extend him. We'll see if they do. I'm interested in that as well. But man, I think this is now a team that is difficult to deal with because you've got Amen probably taking a third year leap. You've got a very steady hand at the lead guard position in Fred. Say whatever you want about the shooting. The shooting was not great this year, but a lot of the shooting was because he was relied upon to take really tough shots a lot of the time. Like that's to me a reality. Now you've Kevin Durant to take those bailout shots. Kevin Durant's really good at bailout shots. Maybe the best player in the league at bailout shots. I think that Fred's efficiency probably improves. They didn't give up Reed. They didn't give up Jabari Smith. They didn't give up Tari. They have all this lineup flexibility here moving forward. They've already re-signed Steven Adams to a $13 million a year deal, which is a great contract for Steven Adams.
Descending too, which we've talked about the descending contract with Steven Adams. It doesn't matter that it's descending because he's going to be 35 when it's over. So you're not going to have to extend off of a super low number. That thing's below the non-tax MLE by a few million over the next couple of years.
Yeah. I think this team's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
I
think this would be my guess for the team. If Kevin Durant plays 65 games, this would be my guess for the team that finishes second in the West next year in the regular season. We'll see in the playoffs, but in the regular season, I would guess they finish second in the West again.
Yeah. I think as rosters sit right now, until we see what some other teams do, I think I'm with you, right? There's still other moves that are going to be made. The way I look at it is you went from Jaylen Green as your primary scoring option to Kevin Durant. And I think games played is an important factor here. Jaylen Green has been very available in his career, which I think is something that is worth noting. And Durant played 62 last year, 75 the year before, 47. And the fact of the matter is just more than anything with Durant, he's older, right? He's in his upper 30s. But if healthy, you upgraded your number one scoring option. You did it by using two assets, right? Dylan Brooks, which for me, you just outlined it. You're the Houston Rockets. You have Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason. We didn't even mention Cam Whitmore and whether he's still in the plans there or not. That's a guy that's at least talented, if nothing else. And the number 10.
This deal opens up more minutes for Whitmore, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's more minutes for all of those guys.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, probably going to play 30 minutes a night. You're trading, 60 to 65 minutes a night.
Yeah. So that's why you traded two guys, Green and Brooks, for one in Durant, but you have the depth that it doesn't matter as long as you believe in these guys, which I assume they do to some extent. And then, so now it's the number 10 pick. That's not nothing. That's valuable, but you have all of these guys on rookie deals that you have to pay. And is it the worst case in the world that you're taking 1 year off from bringing in a rookie? And so I'm with you. I don't think it crushed long-term flexibility. It opens the window next year. We talk about windows all the time, right? Would you agree that next year, this is a team we will consider a title contender?
Yeah, I think so. They're maybe not top tier, but on the next level. Yeah,
sure. So I think this opens the window where if healthy Kevin Durant and especially a leap from Amin Thompson, this team could be sick. And so you open the window without jeopardizing your future. It's hard to argue that for Houston.
They're still shorting Phoenix somehow.
Yeah.
They get Kevin Durant and they still get to short Phoenix. Because they still have two of their picks.
What I'm interested in is the contract extension. I'm interested to see what that looks like. What kind of money do they give Fred? What kind of money do they potentially give KD? I'm interested to see how that all plays out. I don't know how much those decisions could change my mind here, but as we sit with the information right now, I love it for Houston.
Here's the other thing I want to say here too. Kevin Durant is still fucking elite. I'm not sure people recognize enough how monstrous he was for the first half of the season this year. He was incredible. Here's the other thing, by the way, that this does. This takes a lot of pressure off of Kevin Durant defensively.
Sure.
He actually had a lot of defensive load on his shoulders in Phoenix.
It's because he was their best player on the defensive end, Sam.
Correct. He had to really be locked in and engaged every night for them to have a chance to stop anybody. Man, I'm not saying he doesn't like, look, Ime Udoka is absolutely going to be somebody who demands engagement all the time. I'm not sitting here saying Kevin Durant's is going to disengage defensively. You know what I mean? But the pressure is way off of him, in my opinion now.
I mean, he's the fourth best defender on the team, roughly third. Amin and Tari.
Yeah, Amin, Tari. I mean, honestly, like I still think Fred is quite good on defense.
Fred's good at what he does. You got Adams off the bench. I mean, we both think Şengün has made real strides in terms of like, he's not like some like anchor of your defense type, but I mean, it's just to your point here, he can play the role that I think that Durant is best in. It was like, let him play off the ball and use his length and come rotate and block shots and grab defensive rebounds and grab and go and start offense and like just be that, not like be your. He was the anchor of the Phoenix Suns defense. As crazy as it sounds, I looked it up. I had him 7th on my All NBA rankings through the first 25 games. You know, we did it. Yeah. We did it every 25 or whatever. How many ever games? It wouldn't be 25, 20, whatever. The first quarter of the season, he was 7th. Like that's the level he was playing at early in the year. And I think he probably would have been there at the halfway point, but he probably wasn't on track to hit the games at that.
Kevin Durant, 27, 6 and 4 last year, shooting 53, 43, 84.
Sounds good.
He is an unbelievable shooter. Like people can be like, oh, he doesn't get to the rim as much anymore. I don't disagree with that take. It's like important to some extent, I guess. Like, but not really when you're as good as he is as a shooter, right? Like when you're as lethal as KD is, it's way more important that you continue to knock down shots at the ridiculous level that you're continuing to knock down shots. And oh, by the way, he might have more energy to be able to knock down those shots throughout the course of a season because he doesn't have to wear as much load on his shoulders defensively. KD is still really good, guys. Like this is he if he plays 65 games, he's going to make an all NBA team next year, I think.
Yeah.
And then you're also getting internal improvement from Tari, Jabari. I'm guessing Reed Shepherd is going to be better next year. I would expect Reed Shepherd to be better next year. They are really excited about him in Houston. Like I can just tell you that they still have a lot of faith in him. I really think this is a home run for Houston.
Sam,
like this is if he stays healthy, it's a home run. Like if you want to complain about the injuries, God love you. Like I have no argument against that. You know, he played 62 games this year, 47 and 23, 55 and 22, 35 and 21. And that's, 2020 was the year he missed with the Achilles. I think absolutely you should expect Kevin Durant to miss right around 20 games at this point. And I don't think Houston's going into this thinking otherwise, but basically they got rid of the guy that I liked least in their rotation and got a real number one option. That's pretty good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So last year, Jaylen Green led the Rockets in points per game in the regular season at 21. Durant for his career is at 27 and was just under that last season. Maybe more importantly for Rockets fans now, Şengün was their leading scorer in the playoffs at 20.9. Durant averages almost 30 points per game in his playoff career. Like this is just such a massive upgrade for a team who is looking to take the next step. And we talked about, I believe, on their offseason preview that they were ready to do that. And we were okay if they did. We were okay if they didn't make some sort of swing. We just didn't want to jeopardize the long-term window. And I don't think this trade jeopardized the long-term window that they have with Amin Thompson, Reed, all of the young guys that we rave about all the time. They didn't move any of them, Sam. None of them. They moved Jaylen Green, who they upgraded at least for a year. We'll see, maybe 2, maybe 3. And a rotation player that opens up minutes for those young guys we rave about all the time. Like if you're a Rockets fan and you're upset because they moved Dylan Brooks or something, it's like, then did you really like Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr., those guys that much? Because you're going to get more of those guys now. Like Tari is no longer blocked from minutes. So I think it's a great move. Again, I will hold a little bit depending on what a potential contract extension, whatever, could look like if we get those numbers or that ends up happening.
From KDC, Thunder got rid of Giddey. They win the title. Rockets, while not at that level, they're shedding the weak position. I do think that there's a huge thing that people often don't recognize where losing like I don't want to go as far as say like Jaylen Green was like negative this year, but losing the weakest link in some ways is often like a value add in and of itself on top of getting everything that you got with Kevin Durant. It's a totally different beast.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's an interesting comparison. Obviously like a little bit different levels, right? Like Giddey was kind of like the fifth starter for OKC and got just traded for a better fifth starter / sixth man. And this where you're trading your number one option for one of the best number one options in the history of the league in terms of scoring the basketball. So it's different roles, but it is an interesting parallel, interesting idea. So we'll see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Jaylen Green in terms of his EPM this year was a 0 player, neither positive nor negative in terms of like the actual performance. Was negative through his first 3 years. There was like genuine improvement. I do want to say that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just like crush, like he got better at basketball. It's just that, like to me, even if it's not KD, even if they don't extend KD, which I would assume they're going to extend KD, but like, even if they don't extend KD and you get 1 year of KD and you get off of the Jaylen Green deal, this is a win to me.
Sure.